Rob, let's talk about the new updated bridge program that CCBC is offering, which allows a Maryland CRTI to bridge to paramedic. I know there's some changes. Give us the highlights before we get into the details.
Yes, we've been making a lot of updates to our program here at CCBC, and as part of that, we've been able to take the Maryland CRTI to paramedic portion and condense it, as well as make updates to the program. It is now a 6-month timeline from beginning to end that allows a flexible schedule that includes hybrid learning to minimize on-campus requirements. It includes on-campus labs only twice a month, and those twice-a-month labs are mirrored sessions and self-scheduled for the student. There are reduced or free tuition options that are available that we'll talk about later on in the segment, as well as field clinical rotations across the state in your local jurisdiction. You don't have to drive to Baltimore County to do your field rotations. It can be done right where you live and work.
So there's an awful lot of benefits here, whether you are a working provider, a provider with 2 jobs, somebody who's worried about the pandemic. There's a lot of benefits, what affects your pocketbook. So let's get into those details. Let's start out with, how does somebody apply for this? If all those great benefits make sense, how's the application process work?
So the application process is currently open. An interested person would just need to go to the CCBC website, to the School of Health Professions for the Computer Application System, or CAS. And we'll put a link in the video here to make it easy for you guys. Once you follow that link and go through the application process, it includes a one-time nominal fee, and the deadline to complete and submit that application is December 7th, 2020.
Okay, so we'll put the link in the notes so somebody can just simply click on it. So first you get accepted, and then there's an entrance process. What's involved in the entrance process?
So we take the applicants that we receive, and all the completed applicants that complete the application and meet the requirements will then be scheduled for the entrance process that includes an interview and an entrance exam. And the interview itself is something that we allow you to self-schedule. We'll let you self-schedule between a number of dates and times to really meet with us for no more than 30 minutes. And the goal is that we get to know each other. You get to see my face, hear me, talk with me, get to know me. I get to see and talk to you. And we get to know each other and can ask questions kind of informally about the program and get to know you before you enter the program. The FISDAP entrance exam that we use in the process, it's termed exam, but we use it as an assessment. We want to really find out from you as a baseline where you are. It's not a pass-fail exam. It's not something that you need to go out and study for. It's just you take it, we assess where you are, so that as we plan the content that we're going to deliver, we make sure that we're able to meet your needs or offer you any resources that you might need to be successful.
Okay, so after I've applied and I've gone through the entrance part, and I wiped some sweat off my head for people, because I could imagine having to restudy, EMT stuff and CRT stuff all over again just to get into a program. So I'm glad that's not the case, just an assessment and to see how things are. So after that's all done, the program's going to start. So, and I think that's, aside from the benefits, what the program involves, how much time is involved, scheduling, things like that. That's really important to people. So give us the details on how that works at CCBC.
So the one thing I want to highlight is, as I start to talk about the content, there is a little bit of a gap between the entrance process and the start of the program. This is our first time offering it, so we want to make sure we give people time to plan ahead, especially with COVID happening. So although the application process ends in December and our actual delivery of the content will start in the summer, that gives our students time to prepare their schedules, to plan expenses as it relates to books and backgrounds and things like that. So
apply for scholarships and all those things, yeah.
Absolutely. So as we think about those pieces, financial aid, most of our students are eligible for financial aid. There is Baltimore County Fire Department scholarship that's available for anyone who's affiliated, volunteer, or career that they can apply for through us. We help facilitate that process. And I'm not sure how long it's going to continue, but the college is offering other tuition assistance related to COVID, workforce development, paramedicine, just like nursing, are in need, so they fall under some workforce grants and things of that sort. So there are a lot of options for our applicants to ease any financial burden. So once you go through the process of applying, entering, you get accepted, you handle the financial end of it, then we think about starting the program. So the summer semester is comprised of 2 areas for clinical. One is field and one is hospital rotations. The other focuses on a lab lecture format for the delivery of content. The lecture portion is delivered virtually, so you don't have to drive to campus. You can dial in from wherever you are. Take the lecture. The lectures are mirrored, so if you can't make one session, there's another session that you can dial into. The lab portion of the course is laid out so you're on campus twice a month with flexible self-scheduling options. So for example, if classes will be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays, your classes from 9 to 1, you can schedule your own time slot for when you want to be there. It's also mirrored in the evenings as well. Again, you schedule your own time slot. So it works out really well for our students who have families, who work rotating schedules to be able to attend class. On the clinical side, those field rotations I mentioned, those are done at your local jurisdiction or your employer. We have clinical agreements with a lot of the major metropolitan departments, some volunteer departments in Cecil and Hartford counties. And if you are from anywhere else across the state, all we have to do is reach out to your operational program, have a conversation, and establish a contract if one doesn't already exist. And it uses your local preceptors to work with you and precept you in the paramedic process. So you don't have to travel to Baltimore, to Anne Arundel County to ride. You can do it locally where you are. And I think that's important. When we look at the hospital rotations, our goal in the Bridge program is make sure you get valuable experiences. So we partnered with organizations and facilities like Johns Hopkins, Shock Trauma, to get rotations for each student. The minimum requirements that we look at, each specialty referral center, and there are usually 4 specialty referral centers each semester that we send you to. It's usually 1 shift that you're required to go to each specialty referral centers. So if you're planning and thinking about your schedule and how much time you have to focus for hospital rotations, we're talking if there are 4 sites and 4 shifts, there's only 4 days through the whole semester that you have that you can self-schedule, pick a time that works, and go to these sites to complete your rotation. So continuing on to the fall semester of 2021, the fall semester is a single course that we call your field internship. Registry calls it their capstone. And really the goal is most of your time will be spent in the field with your preceptor, acting as a primarily independent provider under the guise of your preceptor, and demonstrating that you're meeting the minimum requirements to be an entry-level paramedic in the field. As part of that process, we also have you on campus twice a month to do focused simulation to help you really develop and review your progress as an independent provider. Sometimes the medical director visits and participates in that as well. Our medical director is very engaged and likes to participate and is always very impressed by our students and the level of engagement. So that might be something you'll see as well. And a big crux of that process also is making sure that each student is prepared for the national registry exams, which is always at the forefront of every student, whether they're starting out the first week in paramedic school or halfway through or at the end. So although you're focused in primarily doing field rotations with some simulation mixed in, we also have not only a written exam preparation that's done by you at your own time, but we prescribe it to you, make the resources available, provide you feedback, and then we also work with a psychomotor exam prep schedule. It's not mandated that you attend so many sessions, but we make it flexible. We offer mirrored lab sessions so that you can come in, and practice and target and refine your skills to prepare for that National Registry Psychomotor exam. And at the end of the program, you complete the written examination, and then we host the practical exam. So then you can go through and within the matter of 3 weeks, complete your written, your practical, you get your card in hand, and you are a graduate ready to hit the streets.
So it sounds like things are a lot more flexible. There's more payment options or not payment options if you get some scholarships and grants and whatnot. And things are streamlined. So this isn't dragged out over, more than 2 semesters. And honestly, it's 6 months. So and there's no holidays in between there, right? So you don't have a winter break or a summer break. So things are a lot faster. Of course, everyone is going to have some questions, right? We didn't lay out everything as clearly as it needed to be, perhaps in this segment. So if somebody needs some help, what's the best way for them to reach you or the college to get their questions answered?
So the best way to contact me is through email. Shoot me a message in the subject, put application process or bridge program is the easiest. That way I can answer your question specifically. Mm-hmm. You can also reach out by telephone. Technology is currently our friend, so everyone that calls me and leaves a voicemail, I get an email, so I get to see what you're saying and get back to you. Okay, perfect. Well, Rob, thanks for clearing up how to bridge from CRTI to paramedic in Maryland, and wish everybody the best of luck that decides to take on the challenge. Yep. Thank you, Matt.